Greetings. So I hope you guys don't mind me doing the video like this because it is late, but I'm up. I had to send out a reading, a voice read. So I am going to deliver this message to the collective really quick. Just see what it is that um, Spirit wants us to know. So I'm going to, it might get a little deep over here, just based off of the cards that I am seeing. Like, I feel Spirit is gonna speak for real. Spirit is gonna speak in a way that I'm gonna just go with it. I'm gonna flow. So I do get, you guys notice that when I don't post as much. I wouldn't say, there's times where I will be guided to curate like content and post fun things for you guys, like post crosswords for y'all or quizzes for y'all, or just certain things like funny stuff, and just like a meme or a positive post or something, right? But I don't always feel led to, do reads and stuff. And that's because Spirit doesn't have a message for me to deliver. So it's not a point, unless I really feel guided to. So I can't keep up with the content creator stigma of like posting on certain days all the time. So I have to honor that. And I notice sometimes like divination and readings and stuff, and like even self-help videos sometimes, like that could be a little bit of a distraction from like just being present and really just living. So I do get a little bit of that energy here, that there's a bit of a distraction when it comes to needing to know your future, needing to know everything, and needing this or that to validate or confirm your experience. And Spirit does want us to be careful of false prophecies, false guidances, or just taking on a prophecy or a guidance that's not meant for us, right? Or seeking these things out. So I do feel like your spiritual team is stepping in. It's like almost like an angelic intercession needs to happen, like this divine intercession, divine intervention that is kind of needing to take place to break some of you guys out of maybe the wrong focus at this time. I do see that there's certain patterns or certain things that maybe you're accustomed to or used to that could have been taught to you, or just you've taken them on due to, being around certain people or certain ancestral patterns or things that you are kind of falling or have fell into the habit of, but maybe coming out of them as well. You are a trailblazer, and I get that there's something that you may have believed about yourself, a negative thing that you believed about yourself that is not true. And it caused you to see things from a confused state. You've kind of, maybe you, considering the source that it came from, it could have been something that made you really believed in it. You fell for this false truth about yourself. And it was something negative, I feel, or something that goes against the path that's really for you. And I feel like there's a timing, like a time sensitive thing. Like Spirit is saying, we might have, in the past been a little bit spiritually immature about certain things, but now that you are at a place with yourself where you know more, now, it's like you're being held to make some changes. It's like, okay, in the past I could give you grace because you didn't spiritually understand, what you were doing or what you were involved in or what you believed. You may have fell for things that were not true, but now that you have the spiritual eyes to see, and you're more mature in your spiritual self and your spiritual walk, your journey, now it's time, I'm giving you a time to cut free of this distraction, because you might be in the midst of a karmic cycle where it's kind of like the same thing is taking place, where you're not really seeing much progress. And Spirit is saying it's time to answer your true purpose, your true calling, or answer to Spirit. Like Spirit is calling you, and it's something that maybe in regards to the next phase, next level. There's a lot of trauma here, or you're wounding. Um, where maybe your trauma and your wounding cause you to move silently and not speak your truth. Spirit is divinely protecting you from people. Be mindful of the things that you say. Um, you know, your trauma and wounding may have you at times trauma bond with people and give too much of yourself or say too much, tell people too much about yourself, people that you shouldn't really be trusting in. That's another thing that I'm getting. And then for some, it's just you might have gone through some experiences that made you feel like you can't speak up or that your voice didn't matter. You were silenced, right? It's like this intimidation type of energy or a spirit of intimidation to keep you quiet, keep you silent from speaking up for yourself or speaking your truth or speaking maybe on your trauma or your wounding because it could help somebody. And there's like something that's trying to keep you silent or people. You are being divinely protected from people evil eyeing you and watching you. And I feel like you might be called to just keep to yourself on certain things or be mindful of how much you're giving of yourself, giving away of yourself, I should say. Because you are going through a very significant process where you're purging a lot, you're releasing, because I feel like what spirit is going to do with you is going to be a blessing to a lot of people, very healing, So your process is that you're going through what is called a consecration process, if you want to look that up. And for some of you already know what that means, where you're in the process of being cultivated and being prepped for the next chapter of your life, which is something very beautiful here. Even if you don't know the fine details, you feel like you don't see it, there's something about your new chapter that's coming that is very powerful and very significant. Spirit also wants you to be very discerning of the energy that you're investing in right now. Like the energetic tip jar card is here. So it's like be very mindful of the energy that you're investing your time into and always stay alert and pay attention. Not looking for things specifically like, oh, I'm only going to look for the positive. Oh, I'm only going to look for the negative. No, just be with your eyes open, wise, and use your discernment. Yeah, because this is a time for you to take care of yourself. You guys could be very, as you're growing, as you are, yeah, it's like as you're growing and your growth comes from how much you actually give to yourself and pour to yourself, how much patience you have with yourself, compassion you have for yourself, how much you pour positivity into yourself, how you handle, the roots in your garden, and you have to deal with, the negative things sometimes, or the things that we may find to be painful or annoyance or, detours as we feel, or things that are just kind of bumpy on the road. So like if you were to be a seed that is meant to grow into this beautiful flower in a garden, but there's weeds that are in the soil. You're going to have to pull those weeds, which could represent like, our inner issues, our fears, our insecurities, our traumas, our annoyances in our life, our triggers and things like that. Like we would still have to tend to those roots and pull them up, or those weeds. So just be mindful, there could be people that are distractions, don't really have your best intentions, or just things that kind of represent distractions in your life. If it's not people, then just things that you can easily fall into, getting off track or off focus, or make you feel like you're not progressing, or cause you to want to throw in the towel. Um, and really listening is the biggest thing. Like just listening to spirit and really seeking spirit out, divine source, God out, seeking divine, like what's of my highest good, like seeking the path that is best in alignment with you is a part of spiritual maturity. And it's also a part of progressing, because when you follow the path that is divinely for you, and you also have like where you can be the student, but You can be the teacher, yes, where you know that you know some things, but you know that there's things that you don't know, that you're still growing, you're still learning, you're still, that you can be humble enough to take divine instructions and know that you don't always have all the answers, or um, not everything that we want is best for us, but using our discernment and our wisdom to know what's for us and what serves our highest good is spiritual maturity. Spirit is also going to be showing you a lot of signs. And you might see a lot of miracles or wonders, things that's like, how did that happen? Or that makes no sense. Like, there's no human way possible that this could happen. Or, it's something miraculous or just beautiful things that Spirit is going to show you, because there is a divine promotion. There's like this divine level up that you're going to have, or the spiritual level up, spiritual promotion, where there's more that's going to be acquired of you. So the more that you're giving, the more it's going to be acquired of you. But it's like, because you can handle it, you're spiritually mature, you're spiritually wise, Spirit trusts you with things and with people. So some of you guys could be extending some of your gifts and your talents, or something that you're creating. It is a part of your spiritual journey, your path. You have the divine contract card, but I know that the word contract kind of sounds very limiting and kind of makes you kind of feel like imprisoned by something, some type of lawful contract. But I'm just getting like, it is meant for you to share your gifts and your talents and create. So yeah, you might be tested during a period of you kind of like taking care of yourself, going through your spiritual maintenance process where you're just taking time for you, however long or whatever that looks like for you. Might be a little bit of test with that, a testy energy. The Spirit is just saying to protect yourself. Put on the full armor of God card came out. So for some of you, like if that resonates, take it. But definitely would say like you have to use your discernment. Um, and for some of you, this is not all of you, but I do get like someone that may want to reconnect with you. Um, is not someone that Spirit wants you to reconnect with or get back into bed with them. And that could be literal. But for some of you, it's just like, people that may try to come back in your life that are not supposed to, try to reconnect with you, try to get you back into their life and kind of leach back into your life. It's like, no, that is a contract that is unlawful, that is toxic, that is not healthy, that is like taking you off course, off path, pulling you back into darkness, or pulling you back into a period of stagnation and bad habits and patterns. Like, no, that's not for you. So if you had to walk away and cut ties or cut cords with certain people or things, and it tries to come back in, um, use your discernment. You know what I mean? Like whether it's something that can be forgiven, if this person is truly on a different path, or are they the same old? Because people, they could present a new face to you, but if they're not genuine, that mask is going to come off and they're just going to go back to the same thing. So use your discernment, okay? All right, let's see this. Yeah. So you are going through a resurrection. If you've been seeing the number 55 or fives or 555, this is your message that you're being called to embrace a new life. You're coming out of your wilderness season. If you know what that means, you get it. But you're coming out of a period where you had to go through this process of releasing and purging, and it was a painful process. It was a very tempting, testy process, but it's like when you discipline yourself, where you go on a fast, or when you're eating differently, you have to discipline yourself to eat differently. You have to discipline yourself to work out and things like that. It's going to be that temptation where you see the cake, or you see the ice cream, or you see whatever it is, or wanting to pick up that cigarette again, and but you know that what you're doing is for a better and bigger purpose. So you're not going to fall for the temptation. And what it leads to is embracing a new life. So when you make changes and when you make healthy habits, which requires discipline, requires, necessary sacrifices, but the reward in it is that when you make these new changes, it does put you in a new space, a new headspace, a new mindset. So therefore you're placed in just a new life experience. And that's what I'm getting for some of you. So yeah, you're someone that is meant to be a wisdom bringer, a truth speaker, and but at the same time, you're still, a babe too at the same time. Like you are still on earth, you're still in the school of earth, right? So though you may know some things and you're called to teach or to be a wisdom speaker or bringer of truth, there's still lessons that you need to learn. Um, and I get humbly, not regurgitating. Like, sometimes when we take in information and sometimes we can get full of ourselves. Like humans can get in this place where they get full of themselves because they know some things, but it's like you don't know all things. Some things are not in a book. Some wisdom is just within us, that's given to us, that's divinely planted inside of us. Or so we have to humble ourselves. You know what I mean? So let's see what else. Mm, yeah, spirit. I'm getting like, allow yourself to receive help. Some of you could be a single parent. You could have two children, two young children. And I'm seeing like this help from the divine, help from the heavenly realms. Like you don't know where this help is going to come from, but some of you could come from an institution, but it's really like divine. Like they might say things like, we don't usually give these types of grants away, or we don't usually give these programs, or this program just, someone just decided to give up their apartment. We have this one apartment available on this floor. Do you want it? And you've been looking for something divine, something just blessed. Okay. But it's going to happen in a very practical way, but you're going to feel like, okay, but that is something about it that just doesn't happen every day. Spirit wants you to be optimistic. Spirit is carrying you in a sense. Yeah. So don't worry about what you look like to everybody else and what everyone else is doing, or comparing yourself to other people's journey and how far they've gotten. Some of you guys, that could be a lesson for you, that you're learning a lesson that, there might be times where you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. And I feel like Spirit is trying to break you free of opinions of what people think, and holding yourself to man-made time restrictions and man-made concepts of success and things like that. You know, the number 9 could also be significant to you. So I feel like when you allow yourself to not submit or to succumb to these ideologies that keep you stuck, that keep you feeling trapped, like you're not free, you'll recognize that you're free. It's a shift in your perception. It really is. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. I hope this was helpful. Much love to you. Be blessed. Be safe. Take care. Peace.